Peace of family. So I'm so excited to share this message with you all today. And we're going to take a few moments to dive deep into what I call the borrowed B. And so I know some of you are like, the borrowed B? Yes, BBE. And so, what is the borrowed B? And so, the borrowed B are those inherited instructions that dim our true fire, that train us to wear masks, especially spiritual ones, and keeps us from inhabiting our fully embodied, authentic selves, our true I am. So let's get into it. About a week ago, I was watching an episode of Star Trek, and it was an episode where, well, this one scene in particular, where there is this young student, Wesley, and Wesley is walking down the hallway with another officer from the Federation. And so he bumps into a tall officer looking man. He doesn't know who he is. This man is like towering over Wesley. And so Wesley does what the Federation teaches them to do, which is you apologize, right? That's what any one of us would do. It's an officer, someone obviously in command. So he's very apologetic to him, bowing to him. I'm sorry, I bumped into you. I didn't mean it. Being very humble. And anyone looking at that would say, okay, that's the right thing to do. The officer that he was with looked at him with pride, like, good, you're doing a good job. However, the man who he bumped into, name is Rondon, Rondon was not having any of it. And so he looked at Wesley, apologizing to him, and he started going off. And he started calling him all sorts of vile names. And it was very awkward because Wesley's like, I bumped into you and I'm apologetic. And so Wesley takes a look at the officer and then he starts spewing things back at him. And he says something like, how dare you bump into me? That is so rude of you. I should punch you in your face right now, something of that nature. And so the officer that's with Wesley is looking at him like, oh my gosh, we don't do that. But Rondon looks at him, he starts to smile, and then he says, friend. And so when he walks away, the officer is like, what's up? Why did you do that? What happened? And so Wesley said, I recognize that he's a Zaldan. And so Zaldan people do not like fake courtesy. They prefer for you to be authentic. And so I told him how I authentically felt when I felt like, how dare you bump into me? And so he recognized the truth and called him friend. And so when I saw that scene, I had to pause. I literally paused it and I was like, something landed. Something landed. I thought, it is offensive when we hide our truth. We are offending our very source, our very nature, our I am, when we hide our truth. And why do we do that? And where does this come from? This be polite, be courteous. And so I really was in my mind just going back, like, where does this stem from? Because it doesn't stem from a place of truth. And so I landed on the word courtesy. When I landed on the word courtesy, I said, let me find the root of this word. And when I found the root of this word, was astonished. And I said, this is why we play this role. So courtesy comes from the French word courtoisie. And courtoisie means to essentially bow down to the king's hall. Roughly, it's a rough meaning, but that's what it essentially means. And so the idea of this stemmed during the time of the monarchies. Again, this is French. And so we have the people that are part of the court that are either the king's or queen's relatives, their friends, basically people that they like, that they know that they can control. Okay. And these courtesans, okay, these people are showing respect by bowing to the king and queen. And it's not a respect of because they really respect them. It really is because I get the benefit of land and money and favor. In order for me to do that, I have to be courteous. I have to be part of the court. I have to play this role that is not authentic. Do you understand? They're mimicking something that's not true. They're mimicking each other essentially. And so what you have are the common people seeing that by behaving a certain way, by being courteous to the king and queen, they get favor. There is favor granted. And so what happens? I'm poor, these people are wealthy, they have these things. So if I become like them, then I can get what they have. And so you have this trickle down effect of this courtesy that literally means bow to the king, the king's hall. You have it going from the courtesans, the people in the court, to the commoners. And this is how this spread. Courtesy is not a natural thing, okay? So what do I mean by this is one withholding their own truth in order to bow down to one who is higher in rank than them is really a hierarchy standard. It has nothing to do with respect. This is you hiding your truth about something. This is you being courteous, okay? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this a little bit deeper. So this courtesy thing has been reinforced through centuries via family codes, cultural codes, church codes, religious codes, corporate codes, and each of these rules lands on you like a coat. So imagine these coats being placed on you, okay? These borrowed coats being placed on you that are not yours. They're not your original skin, your original self. And so we hear things like be courteous, bow, suppress yourself, please the room, wherever you are. Okay. We hear another be spiritual, float above anger, speak only in positive cliches, love and light only. Another be strong, never cry, produce at all costs. Another be agreeable, laugh at the jokes even when they wound you. And these bees are borrowed. They're not yours. Someone gave them to you, like a coat. And so you put them on one at a time, one at a time. And so what happens is there are two fractures that are created by all of these borrowed bees. The first fracture is the energy leak. And the energy leak is constant self editing. And this constant self editing siphons your life force. And then fatigue becomes normal. Think about that. All these coats being placed on you. You're tired. You don't know why you're tired. And then the second fracture is identity fog. This is when your own reflection, your own mirror blurs, and you can't even recall who's underneath. Imagine imagine you standing and you have all these coats placed on you. You can barely see what you look like. What was your original clothing? What is your original facial expression? What is the origin of you? Is weighed down by all these coats. And in spiritual circles, this magnifies even greater because performance replaces embodiment. High vibes only replaces deep chakra work, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, these lower chakras where truth and shadow live. And your spirit is in a pinch. I want you to pause for a moment. Just take a pause with me. And I want you to ask yourself, close your eyes, and just ask yourself, which coat am I mistaking for my skin? Now let's go a little bit deeper. And I want to give you some ways. Maybe some of you are like, I'm not really able to connect or really understand or really see myself. Let's use astrology. I think everyone knows their sun sign. So let's talk about the sun signs through the elements. So let's talk about the fire signs. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And your sun sign is how you physically react with the world around you. And so the sun signs may hear things like be humble, don't be impulsive. Let's talk about water signs. So we're talking about Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And the Cancer signs may hear things like don't be so sensitive. Don't be in your feelings. Let's talk about the air signs. So we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And the air signs may be told, be practical. Now, let's get into the earth signs. So we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, who may be told, always be dependable. This tailoring causes a weight, a burden that is placed on you, and you feel it. And you don't even realize that you're feeling this weight of these borrowed bees that have been placed on you that have nothing to do with your authentic I am, your authentic self. Now, I want to teach you a practice that you can do to identify this and some ways to work through taking off all these coats that are not yours in the first place. So we're going to take a white piece of paper, unlined. You're going to split it down the middle. On the left side, you're going to title it Borrowed Bee. And on the right side, you're going to entitle it Original I Am. You're going to take a deep breath in, and you're going to invite the loudest borrowed command to surface. Exhale and write it in that left column. Be what? Whatever that is. Now, on the right column, you're going to ask yourself, what truth was silenced when that rule landed? And you're going to write that in the right column. When you have one in each column, you're then going to speak the pair aloud until the I am warms in your chest. And so let me give you an example of this. Let's say in the left column, you heard be humble. Well, your right column may look like I am bold and kind. How does that feel? How did the be humble feel? Where did you feel it in your body? But when you said I am bold and kind, how did that feel? Another example may be courteous. And in the right column, you may write, I am honest and clear. I speak with truth without bowing. Now, how does that feel? So I want you to add a new pair each time a quote appears. A new pair of be and I am. Do the practice every day or when something comes up. And after one lunar cycle, 28 to 30 days, you will have a complete list. So at the end of the 30 days, you're going to do something. You're going to do a practice. You want to light a candle. This is your inner fire, your inner I am. The candle is going to represent that. And if you like, you can take a handheld mirror or you can face a mirror. And I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. Really look at yourself. And I want you to read the I am column, only the I am column. And I want you to read it slowly. And I want you to watch your pupils widen. I want you to watch your shoulders drop as you say the I ams. And hold that gaze, hold it until you feel the relief in your body. You'll feel your body sigh. And say, yes, that's me. I am that. This takes practice because you have decades of shedding these layers, these borrowed layers. And it's really tender work. So take your time with this. It's in total alignment that this came to me last week, because last week we were wrapping up the meditation workshop and I said, I'm so excited for what's next. What's next is the Soul Mission Workshop. And the Soul Mission Workshop, one of my favorite workshops, I think it's like one of everyone's favorite workshops that I do, is really a deep dive into who you are, why you're here, and how to remove those layers that blur your calling. And so we'll expand this practice as well in the next Soul Mission Workshop, which is happening in several weeks, July 14th through the 18th. And so if you feel excited, if you're like, I want to go deeper, the link is below, the Soul Mission Workshop. And just look out for your emails. I'll be sharing some more information about it in your emails. So again, I was so excited to share this with you, and I hope that this landed with you. Thank you for meeting me to connect with your original I am. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I read all of my comments. Remember this, remove one borrowed B from today and feel your breath return and walk in your own fire. Peace.